Hey y'all, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Carrie. This is my husband, Tyler. And here on Caring with Carrie, we talk all things kids. I'm currently 24 weeks pregnant, and I was curious as to what my husband's perspective was on pregnancy in general, but also specifically my pregnancy, things that are upcoming with the birth, and things like that. So I actually put out a poll on Instagram. If you're not following me out over there, you can follow me at Caring with Carrie over on Instagram. And I only got one question. That's okay. I came up with a whole list of myself that I thought would be good questions to ask as far as pregnancy from his perspective. So I'll tell you when we get to the question that's from somebody on Instagram.
It's a lot of questions.
It's really not though. It's really not. It only takes up like one page on my notepad. Okay.
She scrolled.
No, because there's a title. Anyways, what book, article, or video has given you the most understanding or information on pregnancy?
The New Dads Playbook by...
Back there.
But the New Dads Playbook really put things, better from a guy's perspective and tell him what to expect, how to support your wife through the pregnancy, or even girlfriend, whatever. So yeah, it provided a lot of information, some things that you had probably told me before that I may or may not have listened to. But
I gave him a lot of information. It's a lot
at one time. So but yeah, going through that book, it helped out more.
Yeah, I remember him saying, like, when he was going through it, it was actually after our first appointment that we had with a midwife, and I remember him saying, like, oh, I wish I would have read this before that appointment so I could be more involved in the conversation. I could ask some questions that were relevant and things like that. So I highly recommend getting that book and then having you and your husband read it before the first prenatal appointment if you can. Now, if you get it later on, it's still like a fantastic book to read. There's a ton of information in there, and they do recommend that, yeah, the husband reads it for sure, but also the wife. So I will link that down below so you can check it out. Next question, what differences did you see in me from first trimester to second? This can be like physical, emotional, social, whatever.
Definitely were more tired in the first trimester. I feel like you took a nap pretty much every day.
Yeah.
Second trimester, you haven't really done that. Every now and then you still take a nap and are tired, but so there's that as far as I guess the physical aspect of it, but emotional as it's went on and on, a little bit more touchy. So not necessarily good for me, who likes to joke around like 99% of the time. So yeah,
he has to tiptoe sometimes around me. Well, I tell him too, I'm like, I'm just emotional, it's just the hormones, like, it's
no,
okay.
you blame Charlotte.
He doesn't like when I blame Charlotte. He says, don't you blame my baby girl. And I'm like, but it's her fault, technically. Technically. Okay. In what ways do you feel left out, if any?
None really. I mean, well,
my next question was going to be, in what ways do you feel included?
I mean, pretty much in every way, because I mean, you talk to me about everything or send me stuff on everything, and even if, I mean, kind of putting myself on the spot here, but no, I do not read everything she sends me, because more times than not, it's when she gets a little free time at work and I'm at work covered up, so I don't get a chance to go back to it, and I'm like, hey, just kind of give me a rundown of that. Or we'll get home and she'll start talking about it, and I'm like, okay, I find out this way. So
nice. Nice.
But no, I mean, I feel included in every step. I mean, if there's anything that I'm not included in on, it's more of, I guess, just a choice on my part. You know, like something that I'm sure, you know, I don't know if we'll get to it later or not, but with her being comfortable with who's going to be helping deliver her baby, or who's going to be there for emotional support, like, you know, yes, I want to be involved and make sure that she actually is comfortable with them, but I mean, beyond that, you know, my body isn't the one going through the labor and everything yet. Like, I just tell her, if you're comfortable with them, you feel 100% with them, like, okay, we'll go with them. Because, I mean, when it comes down to it, it's her body and her mind. You know, she needs to be able to trust them. It doesn't make any difference to me. Like, it doesn't help her body out any if I trust them. So.
Right. But I do trust, I also, like, trust your intuition. So, like, if there was something that was off, like, obviously you would say something, because you'd be like, oh, I don't know, like, how I feel about this, or.
Right, but I mean, so far in conversations that we've had and everything, I haven't, you know, felt that need to jump in, so.
Yeah, I will go into more detail in another video, but we did have to switch midwives, and I will say that's one thing that, like, really helped us, having his support and being able to see, like, each step of our decision process, that he was seeing the same red flags I was seeing, and so he was, you know, very involved, I feel like, in making sure that Charlotte and I were going to be safe. So that's good. What's your favorite part of my changing body?
This one's actually a little bit tough. I mean, throughout the pregnancy, actually seeing the bump grow.
Yeah.
Like, all honesty, because, you know, it's just very, like, it's a slow process, but at the same time, like, it doesn't necessarily feel like that, because you just kind of, like, I know for you just kind of woke up one day and it had finally kind of popped where you had the full round bump.
Yep.
And, you know, just seeing, you know, how God kind of, you know, designed women's bodies to be able to go through all that and everything, so.
Yeah. I will say, like, I know that subsequent pregnancies this may change, but, like, literally not until I hit 6 months did I pop. Like, I just popped, I don't even, like, 2 weeks ago, maybe, tops. I feel like in the last week I especially, like, have finally the cute little bump I can show off, and it doesn't look like I'm just fat. So that's great. That's great. Okay. What change about my body were you not expecting?
Really nothing, because again, you like to keep me very informed, so I pretty much knew of everything to expect, so.
That's true. I remember in the very first trimester I was like, okay, by the way, if there are kids watching, like, this isn't necessarily going to be completely PG, so I'm just going to warn you right now, if you are watching with kids around, pause it and wait to watch it again until there aren't kids around, because I think there's things about pregnancy that are worth talking about, especially between a married couple, that are not, like, necessarily, like, things you'd want a kid to hear. But all that to say, I remember the first trimester being like, oh my gosh, my areolas are huge. Okay, that was something that surprised me about pregnancy. Like, I knew that they were supposed to get bigger and darker, but, like, I didn't know how big. They're so big. Okay, anyways, moving on. What's something you learned about pregnancy only after I experienced it? like maybe something that I didn't know that I learned, so you learned right along with me. Because like you said, I kind of give you the rundown more often than not.
I'm drawing a blank.
There's not really like a symptom you can think of that you're like, oh, like that's because you're pregnant? Like, that was weird because you didn't think about it or know about it until I did, or...
I can't remember.
I can't really think of something on the spot either, honestly.
I thought you had something in mind since you kept kind of hammering home on it.
Well, because I think there was like a couple times where I had symptoms that I was like, oh, it's because I'm pregnant.
Right.
I will say, like, until I looked it up, I didn't know about, like, I've been craving ice, like chewing ice.
Yeah, I guess that was, like, now that you mention it, because I did mention that to you yesterday.
Yeah.
Like,
oh.
I knew that when you, like, went into labor, you couldn't eat anything. So, like, most women would get, like, ice chips to crunch on and everything.
That's only in the hospital, by the way.
So, but, I mean, that's the only time that I knew of, like, a woman being pregnant, like, wanting ice. So,
yeah. I had kind of heard about it before, but I never looked into why, and it's apparently an iron deficiency, which I kind of already knew that I had a little bit of because of my blood work. So, what's something you've been advised to watch out for during my pregnancy but haven't seen yet? Body change, mood change, desires, anything like that that you've been, like, told, like, hey, when your wife is pregnant, you're gonna see her do this, or she's gonna be this way, but you haven't seen that yet?
again, I don't think there's really been anything because, again, you like to be a very informative person. Like, I mean, you done all this research and everything and would be sending me stuff or constantly telling me, like, you know, this is probably going to happen, this is probably going to happen. So, like, nothing's been, you know, it wasn't just like we woke up one morning, it was like, bam. So,
well, I mean, are there any, like, of your buddies or guys who you work with who's like, oh, like, your wife's pregnant, so she's gonna do this or be this way or ask you to do this, or, and you haven't seen that in me yet?
I mean, I guess, if anything, like, if you were to wake up with a craving in the middle of the night, like, you didn't make me go get you anything, like, you didn't wake me up to go get you anything, like, you just went back to sleep, so.
Yeah, I don't know, I see that, like, as, I guess, like, girls think that's funny or cute or something, or sweet when their husband goes and gets them something, and I don't know, I'm not to my 3rd trimester yet, so I don't know, like, how strong these cravings could be, but, like, I just think it would be so rude to, like, make you get out of bed for my craving. Like, I don't know, to me that's, like, completely selfish. But I mean, not to say that the guys who do that, like, they're very kind and that's, like, a great thing, but, like, ladies, like, let's do better. Okay, this is the question that somebody actually asked. They said that their husband didn't want to do this, so they were wondering if you would. Do you want to cut the cord at birth?
Yeah. I mean,
I think it's a cool way for him to be involved.
I mean, I'm not the best with scissors, so. But.
Did you know that, like, the cord is, like, super rubbery? It's, like, gonna take a while to actually get through.
I got sharp knives.
You're not gonna use a knife, it has to be sterile.
Sterilize the knife.
You're not gonna use a knife.
Why?
Because it's an upward, like, you're just gonna get blood splashed in your face.
No, lay that thing down on a cutting board.
You have to cut it actually really close to the baby. Because they have that little stump that stays in and doesn't fall off.
No, I mean, I'll get it cut.
Yeah, not with the knife, you guys. It's okay. He's not cutting with the knife.
Calm down.
So close to the
put the knife down.
Okay. What about the birth are you prepared for, or what do you expect your role to be?
I'm gonna be whatever you need me to be. Like, I mean, this is our first kid. I don't have any other kids, so I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm flying by the seat of my pants. So. I mean, really, like, you can, this is going back to something totally different as far as the quote goes, but everybody's got a plan till you get punched in the mouth. So I mean, I don't care how good of a plan we have going into it, things can change or something can happen that throws that plan off. Or when you get in there, like, even though you have a plan for it, like, you don't, like, you can think you know how your mental state's going to be and trying to, because, you know, she's going to try and have the baby natural, like no meds, anything like that. So, and while it can be done, like, you can go in with a plan, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be able to keep that same mentality. And I think things through, and like, yeah, I can say, oh, I'm going to do this or that, but I don't know, because at that moment it becomes more of a reaction thing. So
yeah, I mean, obviously at the end of the day, what it needs to be is going into birth, having preferences, but understanding that birth is always going to go different than you think. Like, it's never going to go the same way that you envision it or think. Like, it's going to be different, and if you have that mindset going in, then that's like a better mentality. I know that most of the time people say the best birth plan is no birth plan, but I've also seen where recently a girl said, I had no birth plan, and so I was mentally unprepared. So I think that there's balance in preparing, but also keeping an open mind. But I guess specifically, kind of the question is more so, what are things that maybe I've told you about birth or you've learned about birth that you're kind of mentally prepared for, to see or hear or do or be a part of?
I mean, again, I just, for me personally, when I'm thinking stuff through, even with you telling me this stuff to try and have me mentally prepared for it, I still don't, like, not saying that it's not important, because it, you know, it can be things that, you know, if you hadn't told me about it, could be a little bit of a shock, but until you actually experience it, like, you're not going to fully know what to expect. So I mean, I really can't dive too deep into an answer on that besides that.
We are going to be taking a Coping with Labor class by Bundlebirth, and I will link that below. That class is specifically designed for the partner to learn how to support the wife in labor, so that, you know, we are going to have a doula as well, but just so that he, you know, is there during times where the doula is not, or even when the doula is there, he's going to have some kind of game plan for how to help, whether it's with counter pressure during a contraction or mindset or whatever. I plan to try to have like notes on the walls, like in sticky notes or something like that, just so that like both he and I kind of know like where I want my mind to be, because birth is such a big mental game. And
going back to, that's my thing, like, I'm gonna be whatever you need me to be. Like, if you need me to give, you know, like that counter support and everything, like, I'll do that. If you need me to rub your back or something, like, I'll do whatever I need to do. But, you know, as far as stuff to expect, yeah, that's
expect the unexpected.
Exactly.
So the fellas are going to be interested in this question. I feel like it's kind of taboo, but as far as intimacy, how have you seen that change from not being pregnant to pregnant, and first trimester, second trimester? Is there any change?
Not really any change.
So my drive isn't like less or more or anything like that?
It may be a little bit more actually, but definitely not less. And I mean, really, it hasn't been, like I said, too much of a change since before.
Yeah, I think really just like the biggest thing is like, as I grow, obviously you have to like think about like being creative with the positions you're doing, but which I think sometimes can, like, people get in a rhythm, and then when you have to change that, it can be like weird, and maybe like you want to be like turned off to it. But just try different things, and there's no harm in trying, and you might end up liking something enough that you use it after pregnancy too. So I mean, again, it's not PG. Okay. What purchase for our baby has you the most excited? What purchase that we've made so far? Or maybe a purchase that's been made and given to us too. I guess I can include gifts in this.
I know where your mind is. So I will mention it. It's the lifetime sportsman license for Charlotte. I'm glad that, you know, we'll already have that taken care of as soon as she gets here. But me personally, for anyone who knows me knows that I'm a big Titans fan, obviously. So
that's sarcastic. He's a big Titans fan. He's like a super fan, essentially. Trying to be anyways.
So, you know, we got some Titans outfits for her. So yeah, I'm excited for that.
What is the one purchase we've made so far that you think we're going to use the most?
Car seat.
What purchase that we made so far do you think we're going to use the least?
Baby bed.
Baby bed, like the Newton mattress?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably for at least a while. I would assume. What is something we haven't bought yet, we plan to be buying, that you're excited about buying for baby? It's kind of like, these last questions are kind of, I guess, more girl department, because like we like buying stuff.
Yeah, I really like, I really don't know, like, you have the list together of things that we need still and everything else, and like, yeah, you share that with me, but I guess I just look at it more from, yeah, we need to be prepared, but I'm kind of leaving that part to you.
Yeah.
Just hand me the baby.
Okay, so last couple questions here. I know that I kind of push for, we need to have maternity pictures and newborn pictures and birth pictures. Was there any one of those like categories where you're just like, I'm not like excited about it as you are? Like, does it make you feel weird to know there's going to be somebody photographing me giving birth? Is it weird for you to think like, oh, like I don't really want to take pictures like with your maternity, or like what are your thoughts on all the pictures?
Maternity pictures and newborn pictures, I mean, that doesn't really bother me. I feel like that's just kind of like, I feel like that's an understood thing, that's probably going to happen.
Yeah.
Like with everyone, like you're going to take maternity pictures, guys, just get ready for it, because more than likely it's going to happen. And there's going to be newborn pictures, because I mean, you want to have those memories. So yeah, with the, I mean, maternity pictures, newborn pictures, kind of figured that was going to happen. I mean, it's just memories. The birth pictures, yeah, I do think that's a little weird. I mean, just for me personally, I'm like, okay. So yeah.
So yeah, I've seen a lot of birth photography that was really beautiful, especially for home births, and I know that it can be done tactfully. So I trust our photographer, and we'll just kind of see how those come out. But honestly, the reason I thought of having a birth photographer to begin with is I really wanted the video or the sound of our baby's very first cry. And because I didn't want a whole lot of people at the birth, the people who are going to be at the birth, him, midwife, doula, they're all going to be busy when that baby has their first cry. More than likely they're going to be, you know, attending to me. And I don't want anybody, especially him, to have to leave that moment to go turn on a camera or make sure that the camera's rolling around that time, because we could think it's about to happen, you know, and then like it doesn't for a while, and then all of a sudden like she's here. Like, I know that's how births can go. So for me, that was honestly my first thought, is I was like, I actually need somebody assigned to do this thing. And even if she's just taking pictures, I told her, I said, I'll bring my camera, and if you can just like keep it rolling or monitor it and make sure that like at some point we get the first cry. I don't even care if you can see us like see exactly what's going on or see the baby, but like if you can hear her cry, like to me that's so special. Anytime I watch a birth, because I do watch like other people in their birth vlogs and stuff, when that baby cries for the first time, I always cry. It doesn't matter if you're like a complete stranger. Life just coming into the world is so beautiful and makes me tear up. So that's one of the main reasons why we're doing a birth photographer, but I can also understand how most people, or especially dudes, would be like, that's a little weird, that's a little uncomfortable. So that's why I wanted to ask and kind of get your take on it, because it was one of those things where I kind of was like, I'm not giving you an opinion on this, we need to do this, I want to do this. So, which I'm not usually that bratty, I promise.
I mean, I could have shut it down if I wanted to, but
this is true. This is true. Well, anyways, thanks for answering my questions today. I will be doing more polls in the future, and if you like these videos with Tyler and can think of maybe topics that you want to hear from his perspective or his side of the story or whatever, go ahead and follow me on Instagram and send me a message over there. You can also comment down below. Make sure that you are subscribed and like the video. Those two things help me out quite a bit. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next video. Hey y'all, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Carrie, and here on Caring with Carrie, we talk all things kids. What? What?
Your name's Carrie? Are you going to restart since you were just...
Yes.
My name's Carrie, and...
Hey y'all. Welcome back. Okay.
Forget your opening line, huh?
Hey y'all, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm really thrown off after that first time. Like, I was in a groove, man. I was in a groove.